All right, now I'm going to talk a little bit about the operation of the topper shell. This is a prototype. There's only one little difference here. I'll go over in a second from the main models we've been selling. Right now the topper is in its collapsed position with the locks horizontal. These are engaged into a locking mechanism that keeps the entire topper from coming up at all. Now you'll be supplied with keys for each lock. They'll be the same key for each lock, and those will secure it completely to where you cannot open this thing without the key. And then just to release the topper, all you have to do is rotate the knobs 45 degrees. In our production models, we have a little indicator here engraved in the polycarbonate window that will allow this thing to free itself. So at that point, you can raise the topper to its up position. The window is still secured to the rear bulkhead. If you want more room than this, you can continue rotating the knobs all the way to the vertical position. And then if you swing it backwards, there'll be a stop. And then once you reach the stop, you rotate them outwards. They'll engage on some latches up here on top, and this will allow the window to stay secure and upright even during travel. So this is a perfectly reasonable situation to travel in if you need to. And then to get it down, you just simply do the reverse. You can shut it as it is, put the window up, unlock it, swing it down, all the pulling in compresses the seal, and this allows you to engage the locks on the side. One thing to note about this topper operation is that when the topper is unlocked in an up position, the mechanism will not engage if you completely lock the knobs in the horizontal position. They must be in 45 degrees or vertical to be able to engage. I'm going to try to do it with it locked here, and it should just kind of jam. It won't shut all the way in this direction. However, going up a little bit releases the mechanism, push it shut, and then you can go ahead and lock it and secure it.
Okay, so one of the unique challenges with the Rivian was the buttons, the access buttons for the tailgate and the gear tunnel. We needed to make sure that you can still get to those with the topper closed. So we designed a little spring-loaded access port that you can see here. And just as a side note, the vast majority of this topper, the Wakeshield, is made in the US, and a whole bunch of it is made right here in Colorado, including this part. We're making these in-house. So anyway, the way this works is it's spring-loaded, so you can just stick your hand in there, press and hold, get right to it. And one of the cool features, these inside rails, you're gonna have to move around a little bit.
So you see these inside rails here?
So my fingers,
Yeah, there you go.
yeah. So those inside rails, that's probably good, Alyssa. Now if you come back down here, those block my fingers going any farther inside the topper. So there's no way to get access to the contents nor the locks on these things. So we've got one on either side, one here for the tailgate and one on either side for the gear tunnel.
Yep.
And then if you had a powered tonneau cover, that same access point is in here, and you could use that there as well.
Okay, now we're going to show how you still can utilize your bed cam with the topper on. We have a small polycarbonate window. Here's what it kind of looks like. We're in a garage with the bed lights off. I turn the bed lights on, and you can kind of see the ridges in the bed of the truck pretty easily, and most of your cargo pretty easily. And this is in the down position, so where you would really need to see your cargo is when you have the shell open and it's less secure to the environment. So Tim's going to open the shell all the way, and that's going to realign the camera. There you go. And then now you can see everything in your bed. And then Tim's going to demonstrate, or drop the tailgate and demonstrate using what we're calling our gear hook, which is integrated to the side, comes with every topper. And it's got a little hook on the end so you can grab the things at the front of your bed that are far away. And he's going to just set it right back on. There's a notch on the front to guide it, and then a notch on the back to secure it, so that stays in place. So there's the bed cam operation and what that looks like.
So nothing drives me more crazy than having something up at the front of the bed that I can't reach and then having to climb in. So we designed a gear hook that comes with every topper, hangs on the side here. So to get at it, you just lift and pull. It's got a multi-purpose hook on the end there. Reach in, grab your stuff, restow the hook. Super slick.
All right, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about the shape of this thing from an aerodynamics and a kind of a practical point of view. One thing to note is we have this nice drip edge that goes over the side of the bed rail, and this sheds water like crazy. We're not claiming to be waterproof, very difficult for any topper to do that, but very weather resistant. I've had this thing through many rainstorm on the highway with no issues of excessive water inside, maybe a little misty. If you follow me here, what we try to do is match the contours of the truck as close as we can, but also providing these nice big radiuses here. And what that does is allows the air that spills over here to meet something that's not quite as sharp, so it has a little bit of a choice of which way to go with itself. You can go inwards towards the tunnels on top, which we'll show in a second, or it can flow over the outside and stay attached to the back of the truck. And bringing that flow down to a smaller profile basically gives you a bit of what's called pressure recovery, and it will generally help to lower the drag coefficient of the vehicle. Think about a boat tail, or how airplane wings come to a point near the, wings and fuselages come to a point near the end of the craft. And then if you focus up here, can you see it? Here, Tim's going to go hit the brake lights. One thing with toppers, like we mentioned in our other videos, that we need to maintain the use of the brake lights. So it's a pretty cool shot. They look really neat from behind. But because the spoilers are so well integrated to the tail lights, or vice versa, we've tried to design these little tunnels here to work with the spoiler vents and the brake lights. So it's kind of a twofold. There's a practical aspect with the tail lights, and then there's a kind of an aerodynamic perspective of trying to deal with the air coming through the spoiler, which would normally try to be collected into a smaller wake on top of a tonneau cover. We're going to try to collect that air here and bring it nice and smoothly back to the trailing edge of our topper.
You know, Garrett, I wonder if this would be a good time to explain the name.
Wakeshield. I don't think we've done that yet.
We've gotten a lot of questions of why in the world did you guys name it Wakeshield, and what does that mean?
It's got like a couple different meanings, right? So one, as I was talking about with the aerodynamics, what's happening at the trailing features of a vehicle in a flow, or i.e. Driving through the air, you generate a wake, and that wake can be good for your aerodynamics, or it can be bad for your aerodynamics. So in a typical truck, without all the nice aerodynamic features that the Rivian has, there's a lot of spillover and turbulent flow that builds up right behind the cab. The Rivian's so well designed to minimize that. So what we're doing is trying to protect kind of the efficiency of the vehicle from any added wake. So that's kind of part of shielding the wake from the vehicle efficiency side. We're also shielding contents of the truck from any wake, any turbulence generated by the wake of the cab of the truck. And then also the shielding is being able to lock things into your truck and have them be secure. Does that about wrap it up?
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add is, like when I explain this to my wife, who's not a technical person, a wake is what's left behind any object that travels through a fluid. And, you know, most everybody's familiar with the wake behind a boat because you can see it. You can't see the wake in the air, but it's still there. And the bigger the wake, the more drag there is, and that's what hinders your efficiency and decreases your range. So
especially at highway speeds.
Yeah, so we're shielding the vehicle from the wake that happens every object that moves through a fluid. Yeah, we're
Good point. You're up there.
So as a longtime pickup truck owner, my favorite feature of the Wakeshield is how fast it is to get off and then back on again if you need to carry something that just won't fit. So we're going to demonstrate that now.
Yep.
We've done it in as fast as 45 seconds. We'll see how it works today.
Right, so first thing we're gonna do is take the gear hook off, and then we'll just start undoing the J-hook assemblies. And we'll put some B-roll in later about how that goes on and off. Ready?
Yep, let's do it.
Let's go. Undo the cam and then unscrew the cam arms from the hooks. Just leave them on the truck for now. Try not to race when you're
You ready?
Didn't fall off the glass. Take this off first so it doesn't hit the ground. Ready? Yep. And it's as simple as that.
All right, should we put it back on? All right.
Same as before, just make sure the tight out points are on the bed, front and back, just inside the frame. Get it, and scoot it forward till the shins hit, and then it's just reversed. The cam arms with the washer over the elbow here. Go down till it's fairly hand tight, and then cam over, pitch the cams inward. You want to make sure they've got the rail all the way over to the truck bed rail. There's a little plastic spacer, and the spacer sits on top of the bed, and it's got a little wing, a fin, or something that hangs down. That needs to be pushed up towards the bed. Often this is where these things can get stuck with the tread that's on top of the plastic bed and ribbing. Tighten it down, cam over, push in, and it's all secure. And now you just put your gear hook back in if you want to use it, and you're done.
All right, so here we have the mechanism without the actual shell on it, just so you can see what's really going on. So when you install the topper itself, when you set it on the bed, this part, pull it back a little bit, Garrett.
Sure.
We want to make sure that this little resting pad is on the bed. So when you set it down, you don't want to set it down with this too far back. So minimum this far forward. And then we've designed a little system. One of the issues is we're seeing a tiny bit of variability in the bed length dimensions, or maybe it's the plastics, or we don't know exactly what. But we've got a little spacer here. That's a little plastic screw and a nut, and that is designed, can you see my finger? That is designed to touch off here. And that controls, let's push it forward. Yep. That controls how close the shell is to the spoiler. So if you get one of these and you find that the shell is maybe a little too close, we might have you pull it back out here. We might have you pull that screw out and put a washer under it, just to fine tune the spacing. All right, let's slide it forward. So now you can see the front mounting system, and it's exactly the same as the rear mounting system. So we'll go over the process one more time here. So you've set the shell in place. You've got a J-hook with a washer and a little eccentric cam lever. So this goes over the top, and then the washer slides over there, and then you just run this down until you start to feel some resistance. There's no need to crank this thing down super tight. So it just started to tighten up. Push it forward, tip it in, and that's all it needs. It is now. Well, actually, maybe I want one more turn on that.
That's just one.
Yeah, that's just one. So we're gonna do that. Here, you want to
Can I interrupt one little thing? Melissa, you can come over here. This is a common problem we're seeing with people installing. Sometimes our little chamfer here gets caught on the tread that's on, for lack of a better word, on top of the the bed rail here. And so if you tighten that down in this position, you end up with too much of a gap here and the shell won't close. So you want to make sure that little bit there, you pushed all the way over, and then you can throw the hook on. So you kind of pull this, before you tighten it, just pull this in and make sure it goes in. I'll go tighten the other side so we can see how rigid it is. And these hooks, what they're basically doing is clamping the shell frame down to the bed rail and then forward to the front of the bed. So they can support full acceleration of the Rivian R1T and support the loads of the shell in almost any condition.
And then one other note, because these levers are long, they can't unscrew themselves. So there's no need to kill it with torque, tightening it down. Just enough is more than enough, because when the shell is on, it's impossible for this thing to loosen itself up. So, correct. Just tight is good enough. And now, pretty darn rigid.
Okay, with the rail, or the shell in this case, locked down, we're going to show you, this will take two people since it's there's no connecting shell here. We're going to show you the locking mechanism for it. This little swinging device will pin in to this little slot here, and this is what allows us to secure the shell. So go ahead and push it down. So that swings out like this, you can see that, and it swings in. And then when you run the cam lock, it comes in here and engages this mechanism. And what we supply not only are the keys for those locks, but we have these pins. The pins go in on the backside, and this is kind of hard to demonstrate with the shell in place, but the pins go in on the backside and just sit there. You know what that does is that prevents this from locking, and it prevents the window from opening. There's a mechanism in the window that allows you to, I have one of the window mechanisms, fits right here, to prevents you from turning the lock. So this is kind of a fail-safe lock. So if we put the tailgate up in this condition, so you would reach under the shell, pin it. Now, there's no way, if you're running the lock, there's no way to unlock this thing unless you open the tailgate. So now your tailgate lock, aka your truck lock, is controlling the security of the shell. So no one can actually pick the lock and break in. So it's a little extra security feature that we added just for peace of mind if you're carrying extra valuable stuff in your truck. So you would have to, in this case, drop the tailgate, reach under the shell, pull the pin, and now, did it too fast. And now you can unlock your shell in the normal fashion.
So we're very proud of the fact that we make here in-house the vast majority of the parts for the Wakeshield. So Garrett, maybe you can point out some of the sheet metal things.
Sure. These are all either made from sheet metal or modifying elbows and brackets for this T-slot aluminum hardware. And then we also make these plastic pieces too. So these are all made in-house, and hinge mechanisms and stops, all that's made in-house. The lock mechanisms
Back
here.
Can you show in here?
This engages into a locking mechanism up here on this side. And this hole, this is how the lock works. This engages in the lock, can't move out. When I roll this, if you come in here and take a look at this, when I roll to the unlock position, this can release, and that allows you to open the topper. So this is obviously in an upside down position. And then if I continue rolling I'm gonna undo that now. You can see here, I don't know if you see through the glass, or these are the rubber stoppers. Those rest on there, and then you just turn them clockwise and they engage in these wings, and that secures the window from coming down, so you can leave it in the upright position. Also, what we are showing here is the ability to use traction boards. One popular thing to do with off-road vehicles is to build up some sort of mounting system, either outside of their topper that they might have on their truck, or a bed rack system. When you add traction boards to the outside of a vehicle like that, you're not doing your aerodynamics any favors. But we wanted to retain the ability for people to do that and keep their traction boards out of the way. So this is upside down. So this would be on the ceiling of your Wakeshield. You can mount anywhere from 3 foot to 4 foot traction boards, and they can handle considerable size. And if you don't want to have this on your ceiling, you can simply unscrew these nuts and take all the hardware off, and then you have a much more room inside for larger items if need be. And this is just a very quick Velcro, and you can lift up and pull the traction board out. And then to go back in, you just slide it in the kind of the hoop there, and it has a stop on the other end depending on the length. And then you just run the strap tight, and that keeps it from sliding backwards and downwards.
And Garrett introduced me to this product, this rail. It's called 80/20 rail. And it's like like Legos for engineers and grown-ups.
Pretty much. You can build almost anything. It's used a lot in laboratory hardware for building various structures, tables, and up to test equipment.
But what it offers to the user, to you guys, is the ability to hang stuff off here, to add features on the inside in Garrett's personal truck. He's got some additional attachment points that he's put in to hold on to his electric cooler. Very flexible system. It's a really a high quality product.
Right.
And going back to the USA made thing, I think the only thing that we're aware of that's not made in the USA are the gas struts and the locks themselves. I don't know, probably 80% of this we make here in-house, and then we buy a few pieces like the rail system and nuts and screws, and the rest of it we make here in-house.
All right. Well, thanks for bearing with us through our demonstration of our product and
All of our nerdy talk.
all the geekdom that's ensued. But we'd like to just say that if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out, and we will do our best to get back to you.
Yeah, if you call here and you need a technical question answered, you're going to get one of us.
Yep.
And we're going to help you. And we just thank you again for your time and attention.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Peace out.